Donald Trump has fired a fresh salvo at Volodymyr Zelensky, saying that this guy doesn't want peace as long as he has America's backing. This comes after Ukrainian President said a deal to end the war is still very, very far away. President Trump then went on to suspend military aid to Ukraine. The relations between Washington and Kyiv have been going downhill after Friday's unprecedented diplomatic upheaval at the Oval Office. Can Europe's frantic diplomatic efforts salvage what's left of Ukraine's Western alliance? Take a look at this next report.
Today is Tuesday, but we're forced to talk about what happened last Friday.
$1 billion. We gave you military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about that? We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people.
You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
The public meltdown sparked by the Ukrainian president's aggressive pursuit for security guarantees in an Oval Office meeting continues to dominate headlines, raising anxiety for Kyiv and Europe. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is now expressing gratitude to the US and President Trump personally for military aid over the years. But Zelensky offers no apology, a sign of the difficult road ahead for him in Washington.
Regardless of what happened earlier, despite everything, we remain constructive. We thought that the mineral agreement would be signed. On our side, we are ready to sign. Honestly, I think the US will be ready as well. Probably some time is needed to analyze certain things. I just wanted Ukraine's position to be heard.
This deepening rift threatens not just Ukraine's relationship with the US, but also Western unity. Determined to prevent Ukraine's isolation, European leaders gathered in London, vowing to build a coalition of the willing to craft a diplomatic path forward, one that might convince Trump to stay engaged.
Rightly, the Americans are saying, hey, you guys are talking about how to maintain a ceasefire / a peace deal, but first we have to make sure that we get there. And they are right on that, but at the same time we have to do this in parallel to make sure that we stand ready.
The discussions we've had today, particularly the coalition of the willing, is on the basis that this is a plan that we will work with the US and that it will have US backing.
But as Europe rallies, US Republican leaders openly question whether peace with Russia is even possible while Zelensky remains in power. White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz slams Zelensky's conduct as incredibly disrespectful, while US House Speaker Mike Johnson suggests Zelensky may need to step down. On the other hand, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard warns that the meeting has triggered a huge rift in US-Ukraine relations. With the pushback from Trump allies, Zelensky says it won't be that easy to remove him. Zelensky claims the only way to stop him from leading Ukraine was to stop him from contesting elections. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And for more on this, we are being joined live by Yohor Bralian from Kyiv. He is security analyst and associate professor of international relations at the Kyiv Aviation Institute. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining us and your time. I want to first ask you, what do you make of this recent diplomatic row, which has seen the relations between Kyiv and Washington go downhill? What do you make of it? What are your initial reactions to what we saw on Friday?
Good morning, thanks for having me. Well, first of all, for us here in Ukraine, it was a real shock of this way of communication by Donald Trump and Vice President Vance. And actually, we need to consider the situation in different aspects. First of all, it's this aspect of rare earth minerals agreement. And there were a lot of discussions about the formulations in this document. It's first point. The second point is that Trump wants to make a deal as soon as possible, and he wants to talk only with the Russian side, and that's why his understanding of peacemaking in Ukraine is following. The first phase is the end of hostilities. The second one is the elections. And the third one is signing a peace deal. So, but we in Ukraine understand that we can't trust Russia and Russians, and that's why this signing a deal must be before the elections.
Given your expertise of security analysis, Donald Trump has suspended military aid to Ukraine. Can Europe repair this split between the US and Europe in this case? How do you see Europe playing a part in this entire dynamics?
Europe can do it, but we must see a very quick mobilization of European countries. I mean, all European countries, not only those countries which attended London summit last Sunday. So we need to say to Europe, like, you have to work not only without Russia in the European security, but also without the US, because Trump wants to pull out from NATO, and there will be a lot of changes of the security alliances, and it won't cost a lot for Europe to fill out this gap of the US support. It will cost at least 0.5% of GDP for each country, and the European leaders must understand that we can't change the political position of Donald Trump. And we see that Great Britain, France, they want to be leaders in this process of reorientation, but at the same time, they say to Ukraine, like, you have to sign this rare earth minerals agreement with the US, and maybe there will be some changes. But the situation is very critical in Ukraine, and Russia is further attacking on the front lines, and we can expect more Russian air attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. So there could be blackouts, and we need to be ready, and we need to stay united here inside Ukraine, and we also need to have the united our partners in Europe.
You're brilliant. Thank you so much for your time and joining us on the broadcast today, and for your analysis.